I remember the year the crocodile came to our village in Kosi by the great Zambezi River. It was not an ordinary crocodile, the kind we saw basking on the river banks or gliding silently through the water. No, this one was different. It was larger, with scales that shimmered like polished bronze and eyes that glowed like embers in the dark. The elders said it was a spirit, a messenger from the river gods, and it had come with a demand. It began one dry season when the river was low and the fish scarce. One morning, the fishermen returned with empty nets and fear in their eyes. They spoke of a crocodile that had risen from the depths, his voice like thunder, his words clear as the morning sun. Bring me a bride, it had said, or I will take your children one by one until the river runs red with your tears. The village was thrown into chaos. The elders gathered beneath the ancient fig tree, their faces grim. The women wept, clutching their children close. The men sharpened their spears, but even the bravest among them hesitated. How could they fight a creature that spoke like a man? For weeks, the village lived in fear. Every morning, we would wake to find the crocodile's tracks on the mud leading to the edge of the river. Every night, we would hear its voice, low and rumbling, echoing across the water. Bring me a bride, it would say over and over, until the words haunted our dreams. Then, one day, a young woman named Adaz stepped forward. She was the daughter of the village blacksmith, a tall, strong girl with a heart as fierce as the fire in her father's forge. Her hair was braided with beads that clicked like rain when she walked, and her voice carried the authority of someone twice her age. I will go, she said, standing before the elders. I will be the crocodile's bride. The village erupted in protest. Her mother fainted, and her father gripped his hammer so tightly his knuckles turned white. But Adaisy stood firm. If I do not go, she said, the crocodile will take our children. I cannot let that happen. The elders tried to dissuade her, but Adaisy was resolute. Prepare me, she said. Dress me as a bride, and I will go to the river. And so the village prepared. The women wove a gown of white cotton, dyed with indigo and adorned with cowrie shells. They braided her hair with gold threads and painted her skin with ochre. The men built a raft of reeds, and the drummers played a mournful rhythm as they carried her to the river's edge. I remember the day she left. The sun was setting, casting the river in shades of gold and crimson. Adaze stood on the raft, her head held high, her eyes fixed on the horizon. The crocodile emerged from the water, its massive form casting a shadow over the village. It looked at Adaze, and for a moment there was silence. Then it spoke. You are brave, it said, its voice softer now, almost human. But bravery alone will not save you. To break the curse, you must answer a riddle. Adaze nodded. Tell me your riddle. The crocodile's eyes gleamed. What is it that the river gives, but cannot keep? What is it that the land takes, but cannot hold? The village held its breath. Adaze closed her eyes, her lips moving silently as she thought. Then she opened them and said, The river gives life, but it cannot keep it. The land takes the dead, but it cannot hold their spirits. The crocodile let out a roar that shook the earth. For a moment we thought it would strike, but then it began to change. Its scales shimmered and melted away, revealing the form of a young man. He was tall and handsome, with skin the color of mahogany and eyes that sparkled like the river at dawn. You have broken the curse, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. I was once a prince, cursed by a jealous sorcerer to live as a crocodile until someone answered the riddle. You have freed me. The village erupted in cheers. Adaise stepped off the raft, and the prince took her hand. You are not just brave, he said. You are wise. Will you come with me to my kingdom as my queen? Adaise looked back at her village, at her family, and then at the prince. I will, she said. And so Adaise left with the prince, and the village never saw her again. But we heard stories of her reign, of a queen who ruled with wisdom and compassion, who never forgot the village by the river. And sometimes, on quiet nights, when the moon is full and the river is calm, we swear we can hear her laughter, carried on the wind. The crocodile never returned, but the river remained a reminder of the power of promises and the courage it takes to keep them.